What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Lasting Thoughts Podcast. I am your host, Digital Relaxation or Rome, whatever. um, we are back again for another episode, and it's been a while since the last episode. Episode 80 was the last episode, and much has happened since that episode, of course. I'll try to talk. I want to talk about a lot of it, but that's not the core concept of this podcast. So I'm gonna try to talk about as much as I can without taking up too much time. But yeah, be back again. As always, you guys enjoy. I can't talk. Been a while. If you guys enjoyed this episode, yeah, I'm not gonna cut that out either. If you guys enjoyed this episode, like it, share it with friends, rate it, all that good stuff. And yeah, let's get into it. As always, what I've been up to. So last episode, obviously that was I believe it was the birthday episode, or around that time my birthday was happening that episode. And I told y'all all that I was going to Japan following that recording episode. So since that recording, I mean, right now it's June. My birthday was the 17th of April. So I've been gone from you guys pretty much the entire May. um yeah. So I'm gonna talk about Japan mostly on the topic because it has to do with the topic, but all in all, quick, I don't want to say a review, but just talk about my experience. Because it's my second time going to Japan. This one I went there for longer this time. I was there for 2 weeks, and was probably one of the it definitely was the best trip I probably took on a personal level. It was probably my favorite trip I ever took. A lot we was able to do a lot. We was able to do a lot, but we still had to manage because life happened, and we managed to make a list. We did a lot on the list, but the stuff that we like kind of really wanted to do, we couldn't. So maybe a part 3, whenever that is, God willing. But Japan was amazing. That's pretty much, I consider it like a second home to me at this point. But yeah, I'll touch more into like a deeper aspect of it in the topic. So since being back from Japan, what have I been up to? I'm going to go out of order with this one. I'm going to talk about, obviously, if you guys don't know, if you do know, I wasn't MIA completely. It was just this podcast. I have another podcast, the Splits and Sake podcast, with 2 of my co-hosts. So we are, we have been active on this. I haven't been like ghost the entire month of May. I've been uploading on that. Funny enough, the day after I came back from Japan, it was Cinco de Mayo. I came back on the 4th. Still not really adjusted to the time shift and the differences. But it was Cinco de Mayo, and it just so happened to be there was a cultural food festival happening in New York City, and they was going to it, and I was like, well, I'm already in New York because I was still at my mother's place before I went back home. I wanted to just take the weekend to like get my body adjusted before I go back home. So like, yeah, I'm already in New York, so like y'all could just pull up and get me on the way. So pulled up, we all went to the city. There was a bunch of like different food like cultures, like Mexican food, um, Chinese food, Japanese food, all different kind of cultures. But we mainly went there for the Japanese food, which was funny because it was like, damn, like I just got back and here I am already about to go back to just doing more Japanese stuff. Um, was a good experience. I would say the weather helped, but it wasn't the best of weather, but it helped. It was a little rainy, nothing crazy, nothing that you had to like run away from, but it was rainy, so that helped with like it wasn't too crowded because I guess a lot of people didn't really want to be in that, so it was crowded just enough where we was able to like hit up different stalls and get taste different food. Um, and good thing for me though, I actually ate before I went there. So I was like, yeah, I'll just try a few things. They went there to eat. Um, but it was a cool experience. They had a DJ over there. He was just playing mad anime music too. And people like just requesting songs. And one thing I just want to give a shout out, man, to my black people who love anime, who's into the culture. Like when they were playing them hits and all of us was just turning up, and I'm just looking around seeing like all the people who like just like, oh, like these guys are really into this. It's like, yeah, bro, like anime's our lives. Like just because we're black don't mean like we did not put some hip hop on. Like nah. So it was dope. I love to see my people just having fun, just being themselves, being authentic. They don't need to fit no kind of stereotype or whatever. That was a fun thing. I didn't try a lot of food, like 'cause I already ate. I had like these chicken skewers. They were cool. And I had like this. It was like chicken. I don't know what kind of chicken it was, but it was like chicken, but it was like in like one of these soft buns. Like I don't know how to explain it, but it was so good. Like the bun was like very like absorbent of like the sauce that the chicken was in, so like it just gave it all that flavor, and it was a good texture. It was good. And of course, like I said, it was Cinco de Mayo, so they wanted to, and of course the splits and sake of our podcast. So we're like, hey, let's go get sake and hang out. And I'm like, hey, I'm off for another week. 'Cause I took 3 weeks off. So I'm off for another week, so we can do whatever. Like I don't have no, responsibilities or whatever. We can do whatever, hang out. And we just caught up. Funny enough, at the same time that was happening, that was the same day Drake dropped the Heart Part 6, which would be like the last song in that whole little feud there between Drake and Kendrick, which I'll touch on that when I get to the music side. But other than that, in terms of splits and sake, because our podcast is we talk about anime. Well, I haven't mentioned that. In terms of anime, I'm trying to get back into watching anime again because mostly I've just been reading manga, and the manga that I'm trying to finish, the last volume is not coming out till September. So I don't want to start nothing new until I finish it. I did start Akira, the manga. I mean, I already seen the movie. It's a classic movie, but I know like the movie just just surface level on everything that's happening. So I started reading that, but I'm not gonna get too deep into it until I finish this manga though. But yeah, so I want to get back into watching anime again. Like I miss watching anime, and I have my favorite anime, Eden of the East. I own the anime. It's it's 3. I don't want to say this because I have this DVDs and Blu-rays in the collection, but it's a 3-part. It's the main series, which is like 11 episodes, and it branches off into 2 movies that continue the story. I haven't seen that anime in a long time because I was holding it off to watch it with my best friend, but we just never really got around to watching it. So I was like, I missed this anime. I was feeling nostalgic, I guess. So I own it. I don't have to worry about like no. It's not really found. It's found on some places, but not on a lot of spots. So like let me just pop it in. I have a Blu-ray player. Well, my Xbox is technically a Blu-ray player, but yeah. So like, let me watch this, watch that. Good time. I still love it. Um, Funny enough, I have my phone like since like 2012, 2013. I always had it like customized to fit the theme of that anime, going over all the way to my ringer to my wallpaper. So hearing the the ringer go off in the anime, I'm constantly thinking my phone is going off and it's the anime. I'm like, damn. But yeah, then I watched Fully Cooley, which is a 6 episode anime. For anyone who wants to get into some anime, that's a quick one. But it's a quick one, but it's an odd one. I think that one, if you're not open minded to anime, that could be one that turns you off. So that's why I don't really recommend that one. Even like I said, 6 episodes, but if you have an open mind and you really catch what the meaning of what the story is, then you enjoy it. And yeah, I'm just trying to just go down the list of like anime that I fell in love with and just rewatch it again. But that's that. As for music, like I said, Kendrick and Drake, what's happening? I don't even know if it started on my last episode, but I do remember that Kendrick did not respond until like a week after I was already in Japan. So like, cause I was in there, like, yo, bro, this man, if I go through my whole Japan trip and this man never responded, I don't know. But yeah, we got Euphoria while I was in Japan. And while I was leaving Japan, we got the Family Matters and Meet the Grams. I was like, damn, like I ain't even leave yet. I'm over here in the airport waiting to board my flight. So I'm just over here like listening, like, oh yeah. And then of course, we got Not Like Us and The Hard Part 6. That beef got me mourning Drake right now. Like, I mean, I'm not, for anyone that know me, like when it came to Drake, like I was heavy on his music during like 2009, 2010. Like I would just like religiously listening to his music, trying to find like all like his older songs, unreleased songs. Which at the time, you know, older, like the latest that was out at the time was So Far Gone. So anything that was like before So Far Gone, I was like trying to figure out all these songs that like, oh, this man, like, yeah, just getting into his music. But it wasn't until like around Take Care era Drake, that's when I started falling off, because you know my music taste changed. But you know, I was still listening to the older Drake songs, just, you know, because I still appreciate them. But this beef got me like, yeah, I can't listen to Drake right now for a minute, because, you know, just gotta mourn that man. Like, man just got whooped. But yeah, Kendrick just went in, bro. My favorite song out of the whole like the whole release is between Euphoria or 616 in LA. I love the vibe of 616 in LA. Like the whole intro, the sample, like, and it's just quick to the point. It's one little simple song. But Euphoria, like, you know, when I'm feeling aggressive, especially when I'm doing my job and I'm walking around, like I need that. Like I need that energy to get me started. What is it to preach? Just just hype me up. The other songs is cool, but they more like, yeah, like it's not hard for me to listen to Meet the Grand, but like it just has to come on. Like I don't sit there and like, yeah, I need to listen to Dare Adonis. Like, I need that in my life right now. Like, I don't know what the mood I have to be in for me to actively look for that song, but I haven't been in that mood. Like, if it just comes on my playlist, I'll listen to it. And Not Like Us is it's a bop. Get the party started. Nothing wrong with it. It's very down the middle. But yeah. Rhapsody. Y'all don't know who Rhapsody is. Female rapper from North Carolina, I want to say. Yeah, from North Carolina. She's on the Rock Nation. She's usually affiliated with Knife Wonder as well. They usually collab a lot. But she recently dropped an album as well. Trying to find a name for you guys. I don't know why it's not popping up. Let me see. There we go. It's called Please Don't Cry. It came out May 17th. But like I said, I've been going all day. So recently. And I recently got into listening to it because, yeah. That track list, 22 songs. I mean, it's long, but not long. It's over an hour. But like I said, I listen to my music and stuff when I'm doing my job. So that hour is a quick flash compared to a whole 8-hour shift. But it's a great album. Gave it one good listen. Standout songs for me, Asteroids is a good one. I don't want to say the title of it, but I low-key like Diary of a Mad Bee. That was a good one. Raw featuring Lil Wayne, both of them went in. And A Ballad for Homegirls, that song, I don't know. So talk about Rhapsody for a second. I didn't listen to a project of hers until Layla's Wisdom in 2017. 2017 was an interesting time for music because I listened to a lot of projects that inspired me to make my return to music in 2018. So a lot of music inspired me during that year, and I was kind of done with making music myself. But that year, a lot of good stuff came out. And Layla's Wisdom was a good album, but I was going through some. It's not really going through anything, but I didn't have a proper perspective of certain things in my life, and to hear a woman's perspective on a topic that, usually men would, not usually men would cover, but you hear it from men a lot. So it's we know how we respond to certain things when it comes to women in relationship and whatnot. So it's the same song and dance for us. So to hear it from a woman who can, in a lyrical, creative way, but also in a more it's hard to explain. Someone she no, it's just it doesn't sound like she's not really in her feelings. She understands the situation, and she understands the dynamic between the two, and understand not having to just do just being able to do the bare minimum to make the relationship work. We don't really hear that from the woman's side. Usually we always have the concept of our head we really kind of got to go all out for them, because and that's always the dynamic. We got to go after the woman. We kind of we got to try hard. They play hard together. We do this, we do that, take them there, buy this or whatever. And then it becomes the question of, once we get you, then it's you have to prove your worth to make us keep you. And that's where infidelity stems from, because they're all right, so now that I got you, I kind of completed the hurdle, and now I feel the challenge is not there no more. Where she speaks in the terms of a real legit relationship where it's like it's not about all these hurdles and trying to like make challenges for each other. It's like knowing, like as she said in the song, like knowing that I got you in my life, it's enough for me. Like we don't need to talk all the time. You don't need to be up on me. I'm not, you don't need to work hard to get me. Like just knowing that you are there, that's we good. Like that makes me more than happy. And to hear that from a woman's perspective is like it was eye opening for me because like I said, I needed that perspective when it came to things I was thinking about in my head, and I was like, oh, like this makes sense. I can respect it now. I can respect how I treated other women before. So it was a good eye opener. But this album, so going into the other song, a ballad for homegirls, which is probably my favorite song on the album. Which obviously going by the title has nothing to do with me or for me, but the song is basically a conversation between her and the featuring singer Baby Tate. Basically she's calling Baby Tate and talking like, basically her man is basically, he has her, but he's also messing around with other girls on the side. But he's doing the typical like, like, nah, you the only one for me, man. Like, no, these girls don't mean nothing, and she keeps falling for it. As much as they keep like, she keeps seeing it. She keeps like, nah, like this man ain't like, he ain't ish. Like, he's doing all of this stuff behind my back, whatever. But he keeps coming back, and every time he comes back, I let him in. So her friend is on the other call, just letting her know, like, bro, like, I don't need to tell you what you already know. Like, you just understand that this man's just a liar, bro. Like, you just gotta accept it. Just cut him off. And she finally like grown to accept that at the end. She's like, yeah, you're right. So it's just an interesting dynamic of hearing girl talk, but through song, and a great beat at that. But yeah, Denzel Curry and Novelist are both dropping albums. I don't know when Denzel's Curry's is coming out, but Novelist is coming out, I believe the 26th of this month. 26th or 29th, one of those 20s. I'm trying to see when this album for Denzel Curry is coming out. I don't want it to play anything. July 17th, right? So good, we got time. I didn't want them both to drop the same month. So for me, I got some music ahead. So yeah, I probably know who Denzel Curry is. As for Novelist, I talked about him a couple of times on this podcast. He's more underground. He's independent. And his music is a mix between like deep introspective, like trying to find your purpose and find your meaning in life rap, mixed in with anime, comic books, wrestling like references. So if you like into that kind of stuff, and he dope as hell, like his rhyme style and flow, like his like I said, I probably said this before, but his music is one of those like when you listen to songs and you rap the songs along with them. Like his music is one of the things that's kind of hard to rap because his style is just so like he just constantly goes and goes and goes. Like he doesn't technically stay on beat, but he does. So he just constantly go, and you just gotta like just go along with it. But I'm interested in this next album he's dropping. And then Denzel Curry is coming out soon. Like I said, if y'all don't know Denzel Curry, I don't know what to tell you. Nah. I mean, I wouldn't say he's more of a new school rapper. Like, I think it was the 2017 freshman list he was part of. So I mean, he been, in terms of the mainstream eye, I guess he been around for a minute. Obviously, if y'all don't know him, he made the Ultimate Song, which was like one of the most popular Vine songs at the time. But he's a dope rapper, and the funny thing, like you just hear him from that song, and at the time, he was coming up with that crowd of X and Lil Uzi and Lil Yachty and all them, and it was like, just everyone is like, oh, these dreadhead mumble rappers, like what the hell, and it's like, nah, he's actually different. Like, he's actually nice. But that's why I said I felt like they kind of like, as iconic as that cipher is with him, Uzi, Yachty, 21 Savage, someone else was in there. I don't remember. It's gonna kill me. I feel like there was some Kodak Black. As iconic as that cipher is, he was the odd man out because he's more lyrical, and I mean they all got their own style, but like he's more like traditional lyrical rap compared to all the others. So it was like it didn't feel right lyrical content wise for him to be there, but obviously like it was just a whole vibe because they all cool with each other. But yeah, so if y'all interested in some hip hop, I'm not talking about anything else. Well, actually, shit, why not? Going into Japanese. Atarashi Gakko, female girl group from Japan. Their blend of pop, hip hop, whatever else genre. Like they just do a lot of stuff. They just actually dropped their album AG Right Calling, which dope album, of course. They don't disappoint. They actually doing a world tour right now, and low key, they come into New York, and October, and I'm low key debating it because I want to see them live. So yeah, I mean, you want to be into that, sure. Movies. I started rewatching the Bad Boys franchise because obviously the fourth movie just recently came out like a few days ago. But the first movie for some reason I've probably seen it in full like once in my life. I always seen it like here and there, but in full probably once in my life. But for some reason I just don't like it. Just don't stick in my head. So finally watched that. It was cool. Then the second one holds a place for my heart. I think I seen that one at theaters actually. That whole the movie, everything was just an era during that time. Just that whole soundtrack, everything that was happening during that time period was just an era. I didn't see the third one again yet. I only seen it once. And then I'll watch the fourth one. I also watched He Got Game. If y'all don't know that, it's a Spike Lee film that centers around a high school basketball prodigy who, he's in his senior year, and he's in that position where he's faced with, should he go pro or should he continue his studies and go to college and play for a college basketball team. So it goes through the whole dilemma of people like constantly pressure him, like, oh, do you know what you're gonna do? Do you have a decision? Do you know what school you're gonna go to? If you're gonna go to a school, like, and then he just like constantly telling people like, no, I don't know what I'm doing yet. Like, like everyone just constantly on me, like, like since when, like, he doesn't like the attention in a sense. Like he likes it, but he doesn't like it. And it's like, it's weird. It's like one of those things. Like he preached, like, he loves the respect and love that he gets, but it's like all the constant hounding and constantly being on him, and people like, trying to do shady stuff around him, trying to bribe him or whatever, or get fame off his name or whatever. Like, he ain't like that. But also he deals with the situation of he had a tragic situation as a kid where his father accidentally murdered his mother during like a whole heated argument. So his father hasn't been in his life since he was like a kid. So obviously the character is Jesus Shuttleworth, is played by basketball legend Ray Allen, and his father is played by our the film icon Denzel Washington. And I've seen the movie plenty of times as a kid, but watching it, like I said, I like to rewatch movies that I've grown up watching, but through like different perspectives. So to watch it from the perspective of Denzel's character was a different take because when you're young, you don't really understand his point of view, for a sense, like his mindset of being. He's put in a situation where, like I said, a lot of people was trying to use his son's name or whatever, or trying to bribe him or whatever the case is. So he's put in a situation where he was in jail, and the warden gave him a proposition where if he can get his son to sign over to the college, to basically go to the college and join the team of the college that the mayor used to go to, he would consider shortening his sentence so he can get out sooner. And the deal was basically he would let him out of jail for like a week. Obviously he'd be monitored the whole time, but he would let him out of jail for like a week, so giving him a week of freedom was interesting. So you get to see how he adapts to just be re-entering society again, seeing his kids. He also has a daughter, so seeing his kids are grown up now. Grown up, they ain't high school and junior high school, but compared to how he last seen them, they're grown up now. It's like, damn, I missed out on all of this. And then trying to reconnect with his son because his son blames him for the murder of his mother, because it was, like I said, it was a heated argument at the time. So his son was already upset with his father, and on top of what happened there, so he just been upset with him the whole time. So when he finally seen him again, he was like, yeah, this our dad. Nah, I don't got a father. So he just constantly rejecting him. But they constantly keep talking, and he slowly warming up to him. But so much going on. Like I said, he only had a week time to try to get the situation going, while at the same time everyone is constantly like, yeah, where you going, and he's going to different colleges, scouting and all of that. So it was a rough time. But it was a good, interesting movie. Watching it again in that perspective, interesting. Going into life, which will trickle into my topic now. One of the reasons why I haven't uploaded in a while or a month was because of what I experienced while I was in Japan, and I've been trying to. It's like. I don't know. It's like meeting another version of yourself and experiencing another version of yourself, and trying to maintain that side of you. And I'm trying. And once I came back home, it was trying to figure out how can I, keep basically bring two halves of myself into who I am now. That's basically what I've been dealing with. So going into the main topic, and of course more talking about Japan. I've funny enough, because I know what I'm going to call this episode. I've basically found Euphoria. That makes sense. But not only just Euphoria, but also found peace. So during my trip in Japan, and the funny thing, I couldn't understand it until towards the last few days while I was there. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like maybe a lot of people might feel this. It might be a common feeling, but me dealing with everything I deal with, it felt new but nostalgic. um, so like I said, this is on a personal level. It's my favorite trip because I was able to, for the first time, like go on vacation. When you go on vacation, usually the intent is depending on where you go, whatever. But the intent is for you to basically push whatever you've been doing on your personal life the whole time to the side for a little bit and just let it all go for a while. So funny enough, like I said, during my first trip to Japan, it wasn't really like that because there was a lot happening. Like, it was my first time meeting my friend. It was the first time being in Japan. It was cultural shock and just adjusting to everything. So it felt more like it still felt busy. So coming back this time, it was like, I'm familiar. The first day it felt a little busy because, like, oh, it's Japan again. But like once I like started seeing stuff again, like, all right, I know, all right. We also stood at the same spot we was at, so that helped. So like, all right, I'm already getting familiar with this place. Everything is being like, I already understand how everything works here. So it was just like, all right, now let's just enjoy it. And like just during the whole time, I was able to like finally just not live in my head for like the first time in probably over a decade. Like it's been so long since I wasn't sitting there overthinking life and constantly thinking about things and thinking about what I'm going to do and just just things to keep my mind wondering. Like for the first time, I was just able to just live in the moment. And funny, that was like my whole like motto while I was over there. Like we just gotta experience life. Like like there's a lot of things because obviously she lives there, so like it was a lot of things that like she's used to things, but it's the stuff that like, all right, when there's things that happen in your normal life and it annoys you because you see it all the time or whatever, and you just like, yeah, I understand, but like forget it, man. We here. Let's just experience life. Let's just do what we gotta do. Forget them. Like, let's ignore all the people and just do us. So it was just a good feeling to just finally be at peace and just relax. Don't have to worry about things, which was kind of getting on my friend's nerves too, because she was like, hey, like, you want to do this? Or she like give me options and stuff, and I'm just like, don't make me think and don't make me decide, because like my brain is basically off right now. Like I'm just in the moment, like I'm with whatever. Don't make me decide nothing, which sucks because like obviously, but the things that she wanted me to decide wasn't really nothing serious, like because obviously, like I said, there was things that we were supposed to do that we didn't do, and those are the things that I most likely would have been more involved with. But most of the stuff was just like simple stuff, like, hey, you want to do this, you want to do that, or whatever. And I'm like, but don't make me decide, just do it. So yeah, so to do that and come back home and basically, I mean, it was a good thing that I gave myself that extra week off, so I can just be with myself for a moment and reflect on the whole journey, the whole trip, and reflect on that feeling that I had. And of course, once I started getting back into like normal work and normal life stuff and whatnot, and it was just like not trying to let my like my personal day-to-day life or whatever like ruin that. So that was like the whole thing I was like dealing with and facing the whole time. Just trying to balance being able to not overthink and live in my head no more, and still function through my day-to-day life and whatnot. So that's kind of the reason why I've been like unmotivated to do this podcast. Like literally I went through like, again, like I said, overthinking. Overthinking. I went through like 3 stages of like yeah, I gotta do this podcast, and part of me like, I don't even feel like doing this podcast. And another part of me was like, I think I'm actually gonna stop doing the podcast. I was thinking, and it might still happen, I don't know, but I was thinking like, when I get to episode 100, I think I'll stop doing podcast. I will stop doing this podcast, because I was getting to the point where it was like, I was thinking about this podcast in the sense of like, this podcast can be good, like, to listen to like at any time. Like, I have like, if you want to hear something about this topic, it's there. If you want to hear something about that topic, it's there. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to make it feel like I'm constantly forcing the topic. Like, I feel like I talked about a lot of things that I don't want it to force topics. And 100 is like a good cutoff. To get to 100, regardless, is crazy. And like I said, most of the stuff that I talk about, I don't just talk about topics just to talk about them. Like, you know, I talked about how they interact with me as well personally, and like how, if I'm dealing with it, or if I have dealt with it, and like how it can help anyone who's dealing with it and whatnot. So that's like, you know, the dilemma I was dealing with. So but you know, we're back. Just gotta let it happen, I guess. But yeah, so with this episode, just going with the whole situation of just like not living in your head, which funny because a few episodes ago, funny, that's why I mentioned Novelist, where he had a song where he talked about the concept of mastering your thoughts and not having thoughts at all. And I told you that was my issue last year, where I was suffering from overthinking too much, and it led me through like a whole little mental breakdown, which led to me not recording the podcast for a while. So yeah, I'm just trying to get to the point where it's like, because it's been so, like I said, it's been so long since I've lived like that. It's been so long since I got to sit there and not be trapped in my head and constantly overthinking. So I'm trying to, like, now that I felt it again, I know what it feels like, trying to you know, put it back within me again and live my life in a way to like certain things I'm not just going, like, you know, just not overthinking. And it's like, before it was easier said than, it's one of those like, it's easier said than done things, but now that I felt it, like, I think it's more easier to do now. Like, there's a lot of things that have been happening, like, especially when I came back, there's a few things already happened off the bat that made me like, bruh. But like I said, it's just, you know, I'm not gonna let it trip me up. I went to go visit my father too. Since I've been back in Japan, I haven't seen him. So I went to go see him, and you know, we just talked, and you know, he gave me the old gems and wisdom. And this is a weird one because I don't know. I can't remember all my episodes, but I'm pretty sure it's well documented on how I feel about one situation with my family and whatnot. Just everything that happened with my family and my depression and all of that, and the living situation. So being that now that I am on my own and whatnot, I feel like this is something I do want to say for, you know, people who probably in my situation or whatnot. You are, like, you know, still living with a spouse or something, or even if you just recently moved out, or if you haven't moved out for a while, and, you know, living with your spouse is one of the things that kind of like bugged you, and, you know, that was like constantly hearing, because like that was the thing with me and my father. Like it got to the point where, for me personally, that it got to the point where it was hard for me to talk to him because I knew where it would lead. It was like, I talked to him about the most simplest thing, and he would turn it into like a good hour and a half, like just lecture about life, and then telling me about where I should go in life and how I should operate in life. And I'm like, I don't want to hear none of that. So being that, I'm on my own and whatnot, and like I said, I'm like finding myself and being more comfortable with myself. And now that I'm more comfortable with like being more comfortable to hang around my family again, like don't take those moments for granted. If they, those, if your parents are still around, whoever that parent is that do give you those advice and those talks, like don't take that for granted, because those are going to be the only people who can give you those talks. Like even that, like there was things that he was talking to me about that he never really talked to me about before. Like he was talking to me about his past, and like I know about his past on the surface level, but he was talking to me like more like he would pinpoint in like a memory, like, yeah, it was at this moment when this happened at this day. And he told me about a memory about how he I don't like to put people out there, but my father, like, he had a trouble past, of course, but so he was doing things that he shouldn't do, and he was gone from the house. This is when I'm still an infant, so I have zero memory of this. And obviously this is when him and my mother were still together. So like I said, my memory of him and my mother together is very brief. So every time he come home, how he tell it, like I would be so happy to see him every time he comes home and whatnot, because he works, and I'm with my mother, me and my brother with our mother, whatever. And he'd come home, and as much as he worked, he'd still come home just to hang out with us, play with us, and make time for us, and making us seem like we're a bother to him. But he was doing the things he was doing, and he was MIA for a while. And I guess he came. I don't know how he probably explained the story, but the way he made it, like he came home, but like I guess, I don't know, it must have been like late at night or something, like when people were sleeping or whatever. He came home and he went into, like, he said he just sat in the tub. He just sat in the tub. Like he didn't let us know that he was home or whatever. And he said for some reason, I guess I must have just felt that he came home, and I went straight to where he was. And he said when I seen him, like, in his words, he said he felt like I saw God. Like I was so happy to see him. And he told me like that moment broke his heart. And he started getting emotional at that moment. I'm like, like it's like these stories, like these things that your family, your parents keep, like, like I said, now that you're in the space where you can cherish these talks and whatnot, like I said, don't take your parents for granted. Don't act like they're a nuisance to you or whatnot. I know it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be, especially if you're living with them, because it's one of those, you in my roof, you follow my rules. It's one of those things. And he always explained to me about, like, independence. Like once you get your own, and once you, like, it's gonna be a great feeling. But while you still here, you're gonna have to deal with me. He knows, like he knew that I didn't like these talks, but it's like, I gotta do it because he didn't have a father to do it for him. So for people who, like I said, that was one of the things for me that led to my mental instability. Like the lectures, when it's like, he's trying to lecture me about certain things, and I'm in the mind state of where I'm still trying to deal with caring about living. And so it's like, it felt like the things you're saying to me are pointless. But they're not pointless. They are. It's just you got to get over what you're getting. You got to deal with the things you're dealing with yourself, and you understand like the things that they're telling you, they're trying to teach you are very important and impactful. And these are the only people who can give you these advice, these talks, these lectures, and whatnot. So don't take your family for granted. Don't take your parents for granted while they're still here. Couldn't going with my father now. Just a few years ago, I lost my grandmother, which was his mother. So but he didn't have a father. Like his father was there, but his father, then he didn't do the raising. And now that his mother is gone, it's like now it's just him and his sister, my aunt. But that's that. But yeah, so dealing with that, dealing with trying to appreciate things in life more, and finding that peace in Japan, and finding just legit happiness in life. I want to maintain that. I don't want to let things bother me no more. Things is gonna bother me. I mean, I'm human, but I don't want it to make me crash out and whatnot like they normally would. So I'm trying to keep myself leveled and just keep pushing. Thank God for every day that I got, and just keep going. But with that being said, I don't know. Question of the day. Obviously, y'all should see this coming, but it's gonna be multiple questions. It follows the same concept as multiple parts of finding peace. Obviously, have you ever experienced what I experienced, whether it be from probably going on vacation, or maybe you found it another way. Like, have you found whatever it is, that something that always whatever you deal with, like it could be overthinking, maybe it could be something that deals with your confidence, or whatever it is, something that I guess you feel like that's your flaw, but you experienced something that just broke that flaw for you for a moment. Like, what was that for you when you found that inner peace with yourself? And I don't want to this one. I mean, I think I'll just leave it there. For people who have not yet, I mean, it's there. Don't feel like it's not there. Don't feel like there's nothing for you. Like, we all been put on this planet to experience something. It is not only just a one-sided thing. You gotta find what you're here for, find your peace, find your happiness, find your purpose. You're gonna experience challenge, you're gonna experience ups and downs, you're gonna experience, negative emotions. That's what makes us us. Because that makes us value the happiness even more. Because now it's like, oh, this is making me sad because this used to make me happy, but now I'm sad about it. Like, now I cherish what made me happy again, and I don't want to be sad about this no more. Like, that's why we feel the negative things, because it makes us cherish the good more. So don't feel like there's nothing there for you. There's something there for all of us. You just gotta find it. For me, I had to go to the other side of the planet to find it. You don't know. It could be right next to you. It could be far from you. You just gotta experience life, like I said, and just keep growing. But yeah, that's about it. So yeah, as always, you guys enjoy this episode, like it, share it, rate it, tell a friend, all of that good stuff. And yeah, I'll try to be consistent again. But yeah, man, we're back. And yeah, till next time, hope you have a great day, a great week, a great summer. I mean, we wasn't in summer when I last left, but enjoy your summer. school is out for. I mean, for college kids, I know it should be out for the most part. So congratulations to college kids that graduated. My stepbrother actually graduated. He got his master's. So congratulations to him. And all the other youngins who going on to the next journey, probably middle school or going to high school. Congratulations. Enjoy your summer. Enjoy your youth. And enjoy that moment of bliss and happiness. And remember what it is, because it's gonna become a time where you get challenged and you're gonna feel like you lost it. You just gotta find it again. So cherish it now. But yeah, peace.